It's number 11. We're going to solve and write the solution in interval notation. Okay, let's look at the graph of this. We have 3x plus 4. If I solve this for x, I would get 3x is equal to minus 4, and x would be equal to minus 4/3. And if I look at 2x minus 1 and solve that for x, I get 2x is equal to 1, and x would be equal to 1/2. We're going to locate these 2 points on the number line. Okay, if I say this is equal to 0, and if this is 1, this would be 1/2. And if I say this is minus 1, so this is minus 2, and minus 4/3 would be somewhere around here. Now we need to find the solution set, and to find that, we'll look at a point within these regions. We created 3 regions here. Let's say we have the regions between minus 4/3 and 1/2. That's one region we have to test if that's the solution. And then another region would be from 1/2 all the way to plus infinity, and the next region would be from minus 4/3 all the way to negative infinity. To see first if the regions between minus 4/3 and 1/2 is the solution to this inequality, we can pick a test point. What would be the easiest test point we can select here? Okay, that's the question. You said 1. Well, we're looking at minus 4/3 and 1/2. That's the region we're testing right now, and 1 is not in that region. So can you pick an easy point between minus 4/3 and 1/2 to test? Okay, you said minus 1. Well, I would say 0. Probably 0 would be even easier, right? If I look for testing for 0, if I let x equal to 0, I want to know what would happen to the sign of these. What would happen to the sign of the top of the fraction here? If I let x equal to 0, I get 3 times 0 would be 0. 0 plus 4. So can you answer and let me know if it's positive or negative? That's all I'm asking. Okay, so I don't care about the value of that. So 4 would be positive. So you agree that? Very good. That if I test the zero, the top of the fraction, I would get positive. Now if I substitute 0 for x at the bottom of the fraction right here, so I get 2 times 0 minus 1, I would get negative, as we said. Okay, so here I get negative, and positive over negative would be equal to negative. And is that what we want? Do we want this whole thing to be positive or negative? We want this fraction to be less than or equal to 0, less than 0. So we want it to be negative, so that should work. So the solution then would be all the numbers that are, get my all the numbers in between minus 4/3 and 1/2, we'll say that's the solution. Since 0 checked out, that's how you can select the solution here. Okay. If you follow up to this point, can I see a check mark next to your name, please? Good. Now, the next set that I can check would be all the numbers to the right of 1/2, and for that, perhaps 1 would be a good test point to check if 1 is work out. And for that, we do the same thing here. Now, the question is 1 would make the top of the fraction positive or negative? Okay, I'll substitute for each x 1. 1 times 3 would be 3, 3 plus 4, so that would be what? That would be positive. Very good. Now, if I do the same thing for 2x minus 1, if I substitute for each x1, I would get 2 times 1 is 2, 2 minus 1, that gives me positive again. And as we see here, positive or positive would be positive. And that's not what we want, right? We want this whole fraction to be less than 0. That's why all the number to the right of 1 is not a solution. If I test, for instance, minus 2, that's the number to the left of that region, and apply the same thing for this. Now, minus 2 would cause the top of the fraction to turn to minus, and minus 2 would cause the bottom of the fraction also turns to minus, and that would be equal to positive. And exactly, again, this is not something that we want. So we see the numbers to the left of minus 4/3 and the numbers that to the right of 1/2 cannot be a solution to this inequality. Only the numbers between 4/3 and 1/2 are the solution. Now, the only thing we have to check is if the endpoints are the solution. Now, we cannot have x equal to 1/2. We cannot have this. X cannot be equal to 1/2, because if x equal to 1/2, then we have something over 0 is undefined. So 1/2 is not included as a part of the solution. However, we could have x equal to minus 4/3, because it is equal to 0. 0 over any number would be 0. So we have to include this endpoint on the left. And if you want to write this in the interval notation, we will write it as a bracket to include minus 4/3, and then comma 1/2, and we're going to use a parentheses to show the endpoint 1/2 is not included. And that would be how we show the solution in interval notation.